Good evening. I'd like to call this regular meeting of the Show Low City Council to order by roll call. See that all council members are present with the exception of Council Member Rennie Crittenden, who's been asked to be excused this evening. We'd like to welcome those that are with us tonight in the audience, as well as those who may be watching at home on City 56. We'd like to begin this evening by invocation. I'll offer the invocation followed by a pledge of allegiance by Council Vice Mayor Hatch. Those who'd like to join with us, please stand. Our dear Heavenly Father, we're grateful for the opportunity we have to meet together this night as the city of Show Low and be able to discuss the matters that we have on the agenda. We're thankful for the citizens that live within our community and the kindness and the hospitality and the warm hearts that they have. Father, we're so grateful for this time of year as we give thanks for the many bounties that we have and the blessings that we've received. We are so grateful to Thee for Thy watchful care and for the citizens that we have in our community and the people who live here. Will Thou bless them and protect them and help them to have happy hearts at this time of year. Heavenly Father, we're thankful to be citizens of this great nation, and we ask for guidance and direction for our leaders that they might be able to do the things that are best for this nation and for everyone considered. Please be with our armed forces, those people who protect us and fight for our freedoms and the liberties that we enjoy. May we always respect them and respect this great country which we live. And we give Thee thanks and thankful for all that Thou hast done for us. In the name of Thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
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 Please join me in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First item we have tonight on call to the public is we want to give 5 turkeys away. So any of our listeners who, not you guys that are sitting here, but any of our listeners at home will dial 521-3339. The first 5 callers will receive a free turkey. Okay? So we'll
You said
see.
them people out there, right?
They can text. Next item we have is call to the public. Any citizen desiring to speak on a matter that's not on the agenda may do so at this time. We have one gentleman that wasn't able to stay. Alan Taylor just had a concern here with the senior center, and we'll note it, and we will turn it over to city staff to follow up on that. See anyone else on call to the public? Seeing nobody moved, I'll close call to the public and come back to special events. We have a presentation regarding the Show Low Senior Center and Meals on Wheels. Mr. Steve Birdsley.
Mr. Mayor,
Evening.
council, Mr. Mutter, staff, thank you for the opportunity to join you this evening. Hopefully, but don't babble too long here. But my name is Steve Beardsley. I'm chairman of the board of White Mountain Meals on Wheels Incorporated. I'd like to reintroduce Meals on Wheels to you for a moment. We are a 501c3. We also are accredited by the state for the income tax credits, which, as you are aware, tax time is coming up again. So we would encourage anyone that needs a tax credit to please consider White Mountain Meals on Wheels. It's a direct write-off, and it's obviously a big help for us. The organization whose goals is to provide healthy meals and wellness to senior citizens in the community, as you know very well, is 30-some years old. We've been fortunate to survive on the gracious contributions of the citizens of the White Mountains in support of the city of Show Low. Presently, we are serving 53 clients with daily meals and smiles. and relieving their loneliness for a few moments each day. Our clients are referred to us through different sources, NACOG being one, Altec being another, through private citizens and family members who seek support for their loved ones. Our kitchen is inspected by both the Navajo County Health Department as well as NACOG representatives. And I might add, last week we just received an excellent rating from the Navajo County Health Department. The daily menus are approved by NACOG, and these are meals that go out both to the Meals on Wheels recipients as well as the meals served within the senior center. Meals on Wheels Incorporated consists of 2 full-time employees, 2 part-time employees, and 1 trainee, 10 volunteers that deliver the meals, and are governed by a board of directors, which consists of a retired professional senior center activities director, by a retired firefighter, by the chief of police, by a representative from Navajo County Health Department, from a professional communications and website designer, and by a respected local businessman. We went through a reorganization of the board this past year, and I might mention also a city councilman. Our reorganization was an endeavor to bring expertise to the organization that would allow us to move forward in the future, to gain greater impact in the community and be more effective in everything we do. Our last year, which was fiscal 2017, ended in July, we served an additional 1,700 meals from the previous year. And that's a combination of meals within the senior center as well as the Meals on Wheels. Presently this year, as of the end of September, we've served 8,800 meals. We look to grow that number in the coming years. We also provide emergency meals for our Meals on Wheels clients. If we perceive that there's going to be a severe storm on a weekend, we make emergency meals so they don't have to rely on electricity to have something to eat. We have conducted several activities within the senior center, such as card games. We sponsor seminars. This past year, we had a seminar put on by the Attorney General's office regarding senior fraud and scams. December, we will have a seminar put on by NACOG referring to the Medicare situations and inform senior citizens of their options. We look to sponsor health-oriented seminars as well as fun activities. We have several card clubs play. We have bingo. We have exercises. Most of these activities take place during the warmer months when it's easier for people to get into the senior center. We've conducted 3 craft fairs, a music festival, and several other fundraising activities. And as you're probably aware, today we conducted our annual free to the public Thanksgiving luncheon. We were serving up to 150 no-cost meals for anyone that cared to come. So also through the generous contributions from the White Mountain Women's Club, they conducted an angel tree project, which is providing Christmas gifts for our homebound senior clients. This is the second year they've done that, and they informed me that normally each one of the angel tags is can exceed $50 to $100 in Christmas gifts that they graciously donate for the joy of our clients. We're most grateful for that. And as always, we interact with NACOG, which we had a contract extension this year, and we have informed them that we would like to receive as many clients as they have available. They never inform us when they reject a potential client, so we don't know what's happened there, but we wanted them to know that we are anxious to receive as many clients as possible, because we know the need is out there. So with that, if you have any questions, we'll be most happy to try to answer.
Thank you. Any comments or questions of council?
Good job.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks for what you do for seniors there. Appreciate Councilmember Alsop over there today serving and things that he does for the senior Meals on Wheels as well.
Well, we thank you very much for the support of the city, and I know the community is grateful.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. You have a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. You too.
Next item we have is item 6B. I'll turn the time to our Chief Joe Shelley at this time.
Mayor and City Council. A lot of times our jobs are really, really tough, but there's a few times that we really enjoy doing what we're doing, and this is one of those really proud, fun times in our careers when we get to promote a brand new sergeant. I was telling other people up here that sergeant is probably one of the best jobs you can have on the police department. Every chief, without question, all the way down, command. These two will tell you the same thing, and the commanders tell you the same thing. That as a sergeant, it is one of the funnest jobs. It really is. You got to get out there and work with the guys. Once you get past that point, it just kind of separates everybody else out. So it's also the toughest job. So it's the first line supervisor. It's a separation from being one of the guys. So told him, I said, well, we'll see what happens with this. And the testing process was very good. It was very hard. It was very fair. We brought in about 9 assessors from outside, which was very good. So for someone to do well in this assessment, you had to score probably in the 80s, mid 80s to finish number 1, which someone did. So without that being said, I'd like to present our newest sergeant. Oh, he's right here. Brandon Clark. Brandon, congratulations. We're going to take a quick picture real quick. You can leave that on for right now. Because someone else is probably going to come up here and do the pinning ceremony for you. But you have someone there to take a picture real quick. I'm going to get in the middle of us and do this. Get my good sight. No, and congratulations again.
Thanks, sir.
And who do you have coming up to pin on your wall?
My wife.
Ah, Becky, come on up. We're going to step out the way for this.
Okay.
Ow. Didn't practice closing. I practiced pinning. Congratulations.
Sergeant Clark needs to get to address us for just a minute. So what does this mean to you think? We appreciate you and what you've done. It's great to have somebody that's grown up here in the community and to be able to take this job as serious as you do. We appreciate it.
Thank you. So no, it's obviously an honor. I am grateful to be back in the community. You know, everybody knows I left a few years back, and this is home. So it's great to be back. It's great to have this opportunity, and I look forward to serving this community for many years to come. So
All right. Thank you very much.
thank you, sir.
Appreciate it. Come through, council here.
Don't forget Walker.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chief. Next item we have is a presentation by a Navajo County representative, 2018 Community Health Assessment and Community Health Improvement Plan. Allison Huffner. Okay, and
That doesn't look like it.
no.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor,
That
council
looks like
members. My name is Jeff Lee. I am the Chief Health Officer for the Navajo County Health Department. And I wanted to thank you really quick for the opportunity for my team to come and talk to you about community health assessment and the strategic priorities for the Community Health Improvement Plan for the next 5 years. This project has been a collaboration with many of our healthcare system and public health system partners throughout the county. This includes hospitals, clinics, schools, law enforcement, fire, EMS, tribal health, elected officials, community groups, and residents, and just to name a few of the folks that were part of this joint venture. Just a quick overview of what the Community Health Assessment is and the Community Health Improvement Plan. The Community Health Assessment is an assessment that identifies key health needs and issues, as well as the current health status through systematic, comprehensive data collection and analysis. And then the Community Health Improvement Plan is a 5-year systematic effort to address those public health concerns and needs that were identified in that assessment. One of the things that we get to use this assessment for is justifying how we use the funds at the health department, where resources needed to be allocated throughout the county, and also support in grant applications for new funding opportunities. Now, throughout this presentation, we encourage you guys to ask questions as we go along. Please don't wait till the end. And now I'd like to turn this over to my staff, Allison Hepner, who's our community outreach specialist, and Janelle Lynn, who's our public health nursing supervisor, and they'll walk through the presentation with you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Good evening, everyone. So we will wait for the presentation to come up, and there it is. And I hit the wrong, that is me. Okay. Which button is it? Okay. There we go. All right. So in January of 2018, we started this process with a group of 56 organizations, agencies, community members. We met and we discussed what the community health looked like to these individuals. And with that information, we came up with a vision. And from the vision, we went into some assessments. And with those assessments included, and if you remember, we were promoting it pretty heavily throughout the community, was the Community Health Assessment Survey. That was something that we did in partnership with Summit Healthcare, NPC, let's see, it's Arizona at Work, Change Point, North Country Healthcare, and the Public Health District. And we all came together to get the information out, and I'm proud to say that we had over 1,108 people complete that survey, which is a significant amount of people. You usually don't get complete surveys, so we were very proud of that. We went into 2 focus groups. We had a focus group in Winslow and a focus group in Show Low to kind of dial down what we saw in the survey and dial down deeper into what the community felt about our health needs. After that, we developed, we were able to identify the issues through data. We were able to access data from our partners, Summit Healthcare, NPC, the different schools, and we were able to compile all that data into a community health assessment. And then from there, we were able to develop goals and strategies based on the priorities that were shown. And right now, we are in the action stage of that. So some things to understand about our community is there is some social determinants of health, and I'm sure you've heard that before. It's out there a lot, but I will explain it anyway. Social determinant of health is something that affects a person's quality of life. That could be a chronic disease. That could be that they don't have an education. That can be that they're homeless. That can be that they don't have daycare. That could be that they don't have access to food, like Steve was able to give that great presentation. All of that determines the quality of life somebody has and their health. The next thing that we want to explain is the healthcare system. When you think of the public health system, most people say public health, but it is so much more than that. It is so much more than the hospitals. It is so much more than the doctor's offices. The public health system is everything you see in this slide. It includes police departments. It includes community centers. It includes our elected officials. It includes different, corrections, parks, anything that affects health is part of the system. So it's pretty broad, and as you can see there. So we've had the CHA, and the CHA has been completed. And that is all the data and all the numbers. Epidemiologists and people who love data love this. Thankfully, there's also pictures along with it for the rest of us who enjoy to have that. And there's a great brief survey at the beginning, or a brief summary of the CHA in the beginning of that. It's 190 data tables, and it is very comprehensive and specific to our community. And we are very proud of the partners we had to make it that way. The other thing is the CHIP. Like our director said, this is the goals and strategies and objectives for the next 3 to 5 years that we are going to put strategies together and address moving forward. So we want to talk about the goods, because there's a lot of stuff in our community that we're very proud of and that we know. For instance, the air quality is delicious and wonderful up here, and we all breathe a little bit better than everybody down in Phoenix. We have hiking trails, we have parks, we have the small town feel. We know that. We all know each other, and we're all proud of the areas that we live in throughout Navajo County. We all have knowledge of healthy habits, but are we all doing those healthy habits is a whole nother question. Now, some factors that aren't the best are the top results that we came up in the community health assessment for the CHIP. And in order, this was brought to our committee that met on January 10th, again on September 19th. And they looked at several of the priorities, and this is how they listed them from the worst to the number one priority to the least. So that's substance abuse, poverty, mental health, chronic disease, and sexually transmitted diseases. So starting with substance abuse, here you're going to see what we show you that the alcohol deaths in Arizona, and then the drug deaths in Arizona. Now, how does that compare to Navajo County? So you can see there why that was chosen as probably priority number one. There's a significant difference between our alcohol deaths in Navajo County and what's happening in the rest of Arizona, which is a red flag to we need to address this concern. And that is something that we're working on. And how we're working on that is we're working with our youth to reduce substance abuse among the youth. We're also looking into a lot of people are using substance abuse as maybe to relieve pain, or sometimes it's self-medicating in a way. So we're trying to find campaigns to help and bring this information to the community, and we're starting to address it in a subcommittee with several agencies that find this are passionate about this, and this is what they do. So poverty was the second one, and we have a lower median income than both Arizona and the U.S., which also means we have a 30% of us in Navajo County live below the poverty level. So as you can see, 39% of that are children and 15% are seniors. With that means that people are limited on their transportation, which is also a social determinants of health, joblessness, which is a social determinants of health, and child care and elderly care is also an issue in all of Navajo County. So what we were doing about this is one of my favorite groups is the poverty group. And we've come together with Arizona at Work, and we're working on a network of our resources in the community that can be accessed via website for agencies to help people through that. But the best part of that is we're also working at a center that can have all these resources at it, so it's a one-stop shop. I was fortunate enough to visit Avondale, and Avondale has a center down there, and it's incredible. They service 75,000 people a year. It's a little bit more than possibly we would, but you never know, because we would be able to help Apache County as well. But what they were doing is they were handing people off to different agencies right there. People were leaving with every tool that they needed to succeed instead of just a couple. If you've ever done a project and you haven't had all your tools and you've had to figure out how to do it, it's never put together correctly, and it usually doesn't last. So we want to be able to give our community members that opportunity to have the tools they need to get out of that poverty, because poverty is affecting a lot of these issues. So the next one that's no stranger to any of us is mental health and behavioral health. Obviously, this is an issue countywide and the United States wide. Of course, our suicide rate is twice that of the United States in Navajo County. Over 9,000 of our visits to the ER were specific to mental health and behavioral health disorders. Mental health providers, we have a significant shortage in this area, and we all are aware of this. That needs to be addressed. And then, and residents want this counseling, they want this treatment, they're asking for this help. So this is why this is one of the subcommittees that we are working towards. And one of the things that we're doing is on the subcommittee is, I don't know how many of you guys know this, but you can actually use your sick leave for mental health days. And there's a lot of stigma with that, and people don't do that. And I've personally found this out this year for the first time. I've used it twice, not using it, not abusing it. I'm telling you, I got to having 3 children, working full jobs, a job, being in school full time. Sometimes you just need a day to sleep so that you don't go to work and you don't cause problems, and you are there and present. And so this has been a benefit for me. But when I was doing a presentation in Heber and in Snowflake, I had rooms of about 60 people there. And I asked them, did you know that you can use, your sick leave for a mental health day if you need it? And 2 people in each group raised their hand. People don't know that. There's a stigma with mental health. People think, oh no, they have mental health issues, there's something wrong with them. It's no different than a broken arm. You just can't see it. And you can fix it and you can address it. So what we're doing through this group is we're trying to bring that information to the community, let them understand that it's okay to not have it every day. It's okay to need help mentally. We're hoping to be able to change that going through our employers and working with different agencies and organizations in our community. And the next I will bring up to Janelle up for, and I will come back when she's done.
Evening. So our 4th priority was chronic disease. And heart disease is the leading cause of death for residents in Navajo County, closely followed by second, which is cancer. Every 100,000 residents in Navajo County, 193 of them are affected with cardiovascular disease. Persons with diabetes in Navajo County are double the state rate and double the national rate. And for every 100,000 residents in Navajo County, 136 of them suffer from diabetes. So we have formed, one of the focus groups we formed is a chronic disease focus group, and we are addressing several primary strategies. One of the things that Allison mentioned earlier is in our survey, we were able to determine that a large percentage of our population is well aware of healthy habits. They're just not engaging in healthy habits and behaviors. So we need to take it to the next level and find what kind of barriers are keeping them from engaging in healthy habits. A huge percentage of our population doesn't even eat 1 fruit or vegetable a day. Is that because poverty makes it impossible for them to have access to healthy foods? Is that because they don't have a grocery store near to their home? So we need to really assess, why are people aware of healthy habits, but they're choosing or unable to engage in them? So we're working on that. We are working with employers in the area to promote worksite wellness programs. So they help educate their employees on the importance of wellness and healthy activity and healthy eating and how those reduce their risk for chronic conditions and how this reduce healthcare costs, which impact all of us. And I get to talk about the most controversial of our topics as well. So sexually transmitted disease is a growing epidemic in our county. A lot of people are unaware of this. We actually currently have the second highest rates of gonorrhea and chlamydia in the state of Arizona. And last year and the year before, we were number one. We just kind of tossed back and forth with Apache County. So right now they're number one and we're number two. And syphilis is a huge problem in our county. We have had over an 800% increase in syphilis in the last 3 years in Navajo County. So one of the things that we're doing with our STD focus group is we are promoting awareness that we truly do have a problem, that it's a county-wide problem that runs all the way from the northern border of our county to the southern and everything in between. We're promoting education about testing and where testing is available in our community. And we are dedicated to counseling so that our residents are engaging in healthier behaviors and making better choices. The United States has an average of 1 in 4 individuals infected with an STD between the ages of 14 and 25. So that's your highest age risk group. So what we're doing is we're looking for ways to empower youth so that they are making better choices about their health and they're choosing healthier behaviors and healthier relationships so that they don't put themselves at risk. We are trying to engage our community to invest in a high quality, youth-friendly, health-centered community so that youth, if they are struggling or at risk, they don't feel uncomfortable going to a provider and asking for help or going to their parents and having very frank and open conversations. And we are doing our best to combat the stigma that is associated with sexually transmitted diseases so that individuals are not afraid to talk about what's going on. So those are our top priorities with that focus.
Through this assessment, we were able to identify some priority groups. One is the medium families and the 11,000 children that in our communities that are living in poverty. We also were able to assess the fact that we have a special needs population. 1 in 4 families in Navajo County have a child with a special health care need in our community. And this is physical development, behavioral, mental, and we also seniors. Half of the county seniors have a disability. And lastly, chronic disease is 56% of county households have somebody living there with a chronic condition. And the hardest part about that is chronic diseases are usually preventable. So what are our next steps? Well, this is one of them. We're taking this throughout the community and taking it to our elected officials and our community groups and talking to them about the CHA and the CHIP and the important information that it provides for us and the direction that it gives us to go into. The self-directed teams, all the subcommittees are moving forward in with their strategies and trying to address these issues so they're no longer issues in our community. And one thing that to understand about this information, the CHA and the CHIP were guided by the community members. This is not something that our partners like Summit Healthcare and MPC or ChangePoint or we did or told them what to say. This was the community members coming together in a large number through focus groups, through the survey, and through our MAP committee meetings, which are our mobilization for action planning and partnership meetings. They came here and this is the information that they are giving us to present to our community members. So the next thing in February, we have a semi-annual meeting with our MAP team again, where we will be taking all the subcommittee information and giving it to them, where we'll identify more resources, maybe other strategies, and get more help to get everybody rowing in the same direction so we are more powerful in making the needle move in a positive direction in all of these issues. So moving forward, we encourage you to check out the information. It's on navajocountyaz.gov under public health, community health assessments. You can find it under their 2018 folder. if you have any interest in subcommittees or know somebody who might have an interest in the subcommittees, you can come. Some of them even feed lunch. If you're interested in the MAP committee, that is an incredible group of people, and it's a very large group of people. We have about 56 to 60 members that show up. Also, promote awareness. Let people know. People use the CHA data for grants. This is like hot off the press grant material we have right here. It has the data in the community, and it's phenomenal, and it's the most comprehensive community health assessment we have ever had because of our partners and the data we were able to access. So definitely get that information out to the communities, and then just support the initiatives. I know some of them are not the most comfortable, but we share these. These are the same exact issues we have on the reservation as off the reservation. This is the same exact presentation that we would give to the reservation. We share in all of this. So be supportive of the initiatives we look forward to, and know that every single one of those priorities that we brought to you are a priority that is affecting all of Navajo County that needs to be addressed. So if you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer any of your questions.
Look to council for any comments, questions. Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jeff, we appreciate it. Next item is the consent calendar. Any items need to be pulled or reviewed on the consent calendar? We have the consideration of the resolution number R2018-27, authorizing renaming Lone Cone Loop to Snowy Ridge Loop. Consideration the approval of substitute assurance for Snow Creek Unit 2, Phase 3, development release of lots 159 to 189 from a trust 8676, and the minutes of the Shoalo City Council retreat of October 30th and the regular meeting of November 6th. Look for a motion.
I'll move.
Motion by Councilmember Leach, second by Councilmember Alsop. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? See, that passes 6-0. Again, we're giving 5 turkeys away. All right. Call 521-3339. Leave your name, your phone number, or you can text that, and we will see to it that you get a turkey. We're going to give 5 more away. Okay.
Bruce, get off your phone. See that?
All right. We're going on to new business here. Item 8A, we have a consideration of resolution number 2018-28, authorizing an intergovernmental agreement with Navajo County for magistrate clerk employment and approving associated budget transfer. From the time to our city attorney, Mr. Brown.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. As you guys know, the city currently operates a magistrate court, and the currently employs Shirley Patterson as the magistrate court clerk to handle the clerical duties related to city code violations and other traffic violations. Navajo County also employs justice court clerks to perform clerical duties that are similar to that of the magistrate court clerk. And they currently operate the Navajo County Justice Court, which occupies the same facility as the magistrate court. These courts will eventually move over to the Ninth Place and jointly occupy that facility over there. With the recent election of Shirley Patterson as the Justice of the Peace, the magistrate court clerk position will be vacant, and the city staff feels that this is the appropriate time to transition to a model that Navajo County follows in other communities in the county, where the county hires the clerk for the magistrate court and the city pays the cost of that clerk. And we would like to hire this person as soon as possible to allow Shirley Patterson to train that clerk prior to her being sworn in as the Justice of the Peace in January. So Navajo County will employ a justice court clerk who will perform the functions of the city's magistrate court clerk. The magistrate court clerk will be a county employee, will be subject to county policies and procedures. And they have indicated in the event of a vacancy in the position, Navajo County will consult the city regarding hiring decisions. So the purpose of this intergovernmental agreement, or IGA, is to maintain efficiencies in operating the magistrate court and justice court by having the justice court clerk and his or her staff perform the clerical duties of the magistrate court. This will allow all the clerks at the facility to handle any issue, whether it's related to the justice court or the magistrate court. The city will pay the county a prorated amount of $27,854 by December 31st of 2018 for services provided under this IGA. This will get us through the end of this fiscal year, which ends in June. And then after that, the annual cost that they have indicated to us is $43,580. However, this amount has not been raised. This is what all the other cities and towns are paying in Navajo County, but it hasn't been raised for several years, so they've indicated to us to expect a little bit of a price adjustment come July 1st. So after that initial payment, the annual payment will be due on August 1st of each year. And so we're asking for approval of this IGA tonight. If you have any questions, let us know. And Ed's here and Justin's here to talk about any financial issues as well.
Any questions? Councilmember Kukovis.
Do the ERAs include workers' comp? So they'll be on the county's workers' comp?
Yes. Any other questions, comments? I'll look for a motion. Councilwoman Kukovis.
To adopt resolution R 2018-28, authorizing an intergovernmental agreement with Navajo County for magistrate court clerk employment and approving the associated budget transfers.
Thank you. We have a motion. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember Leach. Any other discussion? Call for the vote. All those in favor? Any opposed? See that passed 6-0. Next item is item 8B, consideration of award of professional service contract for Convention Event Center and Youth Sports Feasibility Study. Mr. North and Mr. Muter.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. I have a very short presentation for you. Yeah, I don't have it on my screen, but I'll look up here and hopefully it'll work. Okay, before I get started, I want to give you a real quick background on the this convention event center concept. As you know, we've studied this concept for a number of years. Hunden Strategic Partners was commissioned in December of 2016 to explore the feasibility of a convention and event center in Show Low. And Hunden followed that up with a second study in 2017 to analyze sites, costs, revenue projections, ownership and management options. The concept of adding the sports tourism component to the overall project, as you recall, was discussed at the council retreat last month, primarily because a private group has stepped forward they're interested in developing a youth sports and high altitude training facility. We've done considerable research on the sports tourism industry, staff has, and including participating in a sports tourism webinar presented by Sports Facilities Advisory. And I have to tell you, the sports tourism industry is very exciting when you look at all of the impacts of the industry. First of all, it's sports tourism is recession resistant. Youth and amateur sports is the fastest growing segment of the sports tourism industry. In fact, $15 billion annually is spent on youth sports tourism, and that figure is projected to double in the next 7 to 10 years. Over $10 billion annually is spent in the travel segment of youth sports tourism. Sports Facilities Advisory specializes in developing facilities to attract sports tourism. SFA will use the two previous studies done by Hunden Strategic Partners, and we'll do a combined study adding the sports tourism component to that. The cost of that study will not exceed $25,500, and staff has secured $10,000 in commitments from potential project partners to help fund that study. And I'm available to answer any questions.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Questions, comments?
So the city's cost would be 15.5?
Correct.
Okay.
Councilmember Kelly.
Yeah. We've studied this thing and studied it and studied it, but we keep giving a different twist to it. This, I recall somewhere in recent past as having a convention element to it, but mainly now shifting the primary focus to sports. Am I correct on that, or did we drop the convention part completely?
No, the convention events portion of it is still there. The sports tourism portion or component is a new component that's come up, and so we're looking at combining all three and studying all three.
So, conventions, sports, and
Events.
general events, whatever that might fall to. My problem is I'm not convinced that providing such a facility is appropriate for small city government. Even if we got the money, if we had it saved up and in the bank, I'm not sure. I'm not convinced it's appropriate way to spend money and to do. I believe the other studies indicated that for a convention center, it simply had no feasibility. We add these other components to it, and is it your understanding then that they will come back with a recommended, if feasible, cost that we would have to lay out, and whether or not we could expect any return on that money, or it would just be for the joy of the community and bringing people to the town, which would, of course, be a blessing to the motels and restaurants. I don't know. I'm sure others would benefit as well.
Well, I think it definitely enhances tourism to our community, and tourism is one of the things that continues to drive the segment. And at the same time, that's where, with this, I'm going to say that's where we need to move forward more so in looking at a bed tax, because it's going to drive more tourism and more business for the hotels. And that's something, a mechanism that we need to start putting in place that can help fund and help facilitate some of the costs associated with a venue like this.
And I don't know how many or what percentage of our current population is here that would be thrilled over us bringing more people into our community. I know those that would benefit financially would like it. I suspect a significant percentage of our residents would not be thrilled to have more traffic, more people coming. Somebody needs to help me be convinced that this is a role that we should play.
Well, I think you have to realize that we just shut down a Abitibi paper mill. We're looking at shutting down a paper plant. We're looking, a power plant, one, maybe two.
Mhm.
And if we sit here and don't think that what we can do to expand the attraction to our community and help provide, necessities for the community, that's going to definitely give a void on the tax base and everything else in our community. We have to really start looking at what can we compete with. And I think one of these things that's appealing is also the high altitude training facility in our region. We're at 6,300 feet. Would probably have to have something, I believe that's closer to 7,000 or something that they like, but this would be a great gathering area for that. And it's something that we have the mountains, the altitude, and things that can enhance some of the training for these athletes. And I think when you look at the chart of how fast this industry is growing, and you start looking at it becoming a $30 billion revenue, that helps. If we got a sliver of that, that's definitely a help on some of the things that we potentially would lose in our community.
I guess one of the things I would like to know, and I'm a little disappointed that we don't have a staff member from this company here soliciting this contract, but have they done studies
for communities our size in the past? And if so, how many? What expertise do they really have? They could have done hundreds of studies for larger communities, and I think they might know very little about what would happen in a community our size. But I would like to know if they are experienced in doing studies for cities our size and would be looking forward to seeing what the initial cost outlay would be. When we create a debt, we've got that obligation hanging over our head no matter what happens to the economy.
Yep.
And we have seen it slump terribly in the past. I've had some people tell me it's all over now, it's nothing but blow and go. I'm not totally convinced of that, and I don't want to plan on that and become dependent upon that, creating a debt that if we don't meet, we simply don't meet debt service and lose our ability to borrow money for the most needful things of our community. I'm still wondering, and it makes me wonder if this study comes back, there's no feasibility. You guys are going to need to spend millions of dollars with no foresight of any recovery from that, like the other studies showed. And then would we want to have a study with a different twist? These studies are adding up, and I know we've had some community participation in the very first one. What perception was that basically the community is going to cover it, and boy, that sure didn't happen. And now here we are at less than half, but private enterprise is all excited about it, but just not that excited. They're excited to have the city spend money. So,
I think with this concept though, Gene, one of the things that we lack in here is the ability to handle even some of our own sporting events and even our own community events, whether it be from softball, from baseball, from soccer, from football, some of these sports that we don't even have a youth football team that's a part of our community because we just don't have the facilities for it. So this is going to help us in the long run have city facilities, partnering with an organization or a group in the convention side, hotel, some of those things there. Yes, it's going to take other people coming in and being partners into this, but if we don't have a study that shows that it can somewhat work and help, then yeah, we might as well say we don't want anybody else to come to our community, and we don't think this is a good idea. And all the time that we've talked about trying to get something that will be feasible for our area, it's never going to happen. We either need to, continue to invest the idea and the concept in our community so that hopefully we can attract something that will be beneficial. Councilmember also.
Thank you, Mayor. Just, when we first started doing this a while back ago, we know that the first convention center that everybody was looking at was going to be somewhere around 52 million, and everybody about choked on that one. And so now it's, after doing some research and having people look at different things, yeah, it went down from a $52 million thing down to at least half that now, and they're adding more things into it instead of just being one convention center, just handling one concept. So I kind of like the concept of doing the sports and still the convention and events and everything else. Now, the other side of it, if you were on 3 or 4 of us that were running for this last city council, we had people sitting right in this room asking us if we were for this or if we were against it. And we, 3 of us at least, said we're for it. And they wanted us to say that. They seen us and they wanted to get this thing moving on and see what we can do, knowing that the fact that the city wasn't going to flip the whole bill on this, that they're looking for partnerships to run this, and that private enterprise will run it. But we're just going to give them some background on what's going to happen and where this could be located and how this could help us in community. I agree with what the mayor said. We've lost so many things here in this county, and we need to do something to try to beef it up. And I think if we just put ourselves into trying just to run a convention center, we'd probably lose that. But I think the sports facility and events that add on to it, that we can keep this thing open on weekends and during the weeks. It's not going to hit the ground running the first time. I guarantee you, no matter how much private enterprise puts into it and the city puts into it, those first couple of years are going to be tough. But then after that, I think it's going to benefit and grow and grow and grow. That's one good thing that we see about here in the Shoal area. Whenever we start something, it seems like at the first couple of years, it kind of is real slow, but then after that, it really goes on, kind of like the Fiesta Marketplace and stuff like that. These last 5 years, the thing has just gone crazy. So I think those are the different things that we could do to enhance Shoal, bring people in. But if it shows that we're going to lose money constantly, I'm not for that. I want to bring something in here that is going to be feasible for us all, and that everybody in this community could use.
Yeah, if we got rid of the things that cost us money, we'd close the pool, we'd close the library, we'd close the city hall. All of those things, but that takes away a lot of things that we offer in our community. We got lots of hands. Let's go with, I think you were first, and then we'll go.
I just want to follow up on a couple of comments that Councilman Kelly made. It is a feasibility study we're talking about. We're not building facilities. We got to see if it's feasible first. And that's part of what this study do. And it ties in the youth sports element to it, which I think we missed in our first studies, but they will use those studies to complement what they're doing in this study. But we have had multiple visits with sports facilities group, the group that we're talking about having a contract with. They have built facilities or studied facilities, built facilities in communities much smaller than our area, and they are a tremendous success. And just one reminder that Real AZ, the Economic Development Group for Navajo County, recently did a study, and it determined our best economic tool for Navajo County, for White Mountains, is tourism. As the mayor mentioned, we're losing some of the bigger businesses. Tourism is the economic development tool we're going to need for the future. And if it proves that this is a feasible project for Shoal, the cost of these studies are going to be minor compared to the tremendous economic development we're going to have, economic impact we'll have from it. But we're not saying we're going to build it right now. We're saying let's make sure it's feasible to do.
Councilwoman Kakalas and Vice Mayor.
Well, I agree with the mayor. I think that this issue is one of those things that Shoal has always been really good at, and that's positioning ourselves for the future. We're a conservative community, but we also have to look to the future and position ourselves so that we are able to sustain a good economy going forward. We have the hospital building, major projects, $100 million project in the community that we need to support, and this will support that as well. We already have marketing going on that's driving more of the marketplace up the mountain, so people stay here for their services. We want them to stay here on the mountain. We want to provide that opportunity for them. We also want to provide jobs for the future for our children. And if we don't start doing it now, we're not going to be positioned to do it when all of these industries start closing down.
Vice Mayor.
Well, two things that we have going for us in sports facility training. So we have the altitude, we have clean air, we have a city that's looking for something to glom onto to make it grow. I look at the bicycle races that take place here and how that has grown, and the number of people that are traveling quite some distance to come over here and compete in this area with the altitude. And they train, when the Olympics were held at higher altitudes than where generally people train at sea level or 3,500 feet, we've got that beat. And we watched them develop sports training facilities, Colorado Springs, for instance, and Denver at some altitude, a little short of where we are. But I think that we have a lot of things that we can use to promote this. And I think I've seen that in the sports facility or the sports activities with bicycling, for instance, and things like that. But I think it's a good opportunity to really look at it, shake it down, and see what we can do to attract that business.
ASU Stadium was full last week and with youth sports teams playing for a championship of football league. From there, these teams of 35 youth that are probably their ages 12 to 14, they probably spent $2,500 per child at least through the year. Now they're going to go to Florida and they're going to spend a week in Florida, and it's not small dollars. And that's
Can't
just
believe that.
that's just one group. There's thousands of them that are showing up. Councilmember Kelly.
Yeah, just to follow up, I appreciated Ed Mooter adding the fact that they have already done studies in communities our size or smaller, and they have built facilities, as I'm understanding you, that are economically successful. I guess I missed that in the past. I'm sorry, I didn't catch it. And I just would wish that one of them could have been here so they could have answered some of these questions directly. There are those cities that are smaller than us that are working this and it's working well. Are they near large population centers or whatever? I can't help myself. My mind goes back to the outfit that was going to build us a hockey arena. That was a guaranteed slam dunk. The only trouble was, when we checked them out, everybody they'd worked with for that thought they were good at that time had since decided they weren't. And our neighbors over here in Prescott Valley, I understand, aren't even making debt service. And they were one of the most blow and going small cities in the state. We only have to make one big mistake, and it's a big one. And so I'm interested in knowing more about what they've done for other small communities. And I guess I would like to talk to them. The study, the study won't bankrupt Shodo. It won't. Where we get ready to go forward, I would like a lot of study on the company that does the study.
And they would be here then.
So that we know from others just how successful their analysis has been in the past. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. It makes sense, going forward to try to have them here. Things going. I think we've discussed this enough. I'm going to look for a motion to move this to a vote. Councilmember Alsop.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to award a professional service contract to Sports Facilities Advisory LLC to conduct a real estate and development feasibility study for proposed convention event center for the youth sports facility in amount not to exceed $25,500.
Thank you. I have a motion, second by Councilwoman Kakamas. Any other discussion? They'll call for the vote. All those in favor? Any opposed? Either that passed 6-0. Thank you, Gene, for your support on that too. Next item we have is a summary of current events. Look to council members on any current events they'd like to share. Councilmember Alsop.
Thank you, Mayor. I attended Main Street Board meeting this last month and discussed the different things that's been going on with the Main Street. And we went over the farmer's market report of this last year, and it is unbelievable how well that thing has grown. And we already have people signing up for next year already and paying for their spots. So it is going to be growing more and more next year. Also talked about how well the Spectacular Festival recap went, of how many people showed up, and not just how many people showed up for the event, but that they were constantly there all day long. So it was really a great turnout for that. and get ready for our Christmas tree lighting ceremony on December 1st. We're still working on trying to pick who's going to turn the light switch for all the lights on, but we're still working on that, so we should be able to come up with that later on. So also, like was mentioned earlier today, we served Thanksgiving meal to around 130 people today. The first 150 was free. We had a bunch of turkey and everything left over. But I want to put out a thank you to Show Low High School, their FBLA club, Future Business Leaders of America. They came, there's 11 students came and served Thanksgiving lunch today. St. Anthony's, we had 3 kids and a couple adults come to help with seating people and to escorting them through, and had a great time with them. And then also Mr. and Mr. Walker that's been coming in the last couple of years and helping us just because they liked serving people and being involved on that Thanksgiving thing. So and also the staff for Meals on Wheels and Senior Center. So we just like to thank everybody for coming, and we just like to wish everybody happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Any other council members? Let's give a report here. Councilwoman and I was able to attend, Councilwoman Kakavis and I was able to attend a function with Hospice where they celebrated their 5th year here in the community. It's really a great organization and what they're doing and the things that they've been able to achieve in our community. When you're looking at, some of your loved ones passing, it's just great for the things that they do and the care they give. Had the opportunity with some city staff of having a senior patrol. We took them to lunch and being able to share with them, and they made a great donation to our public safety building of a bench that they have out front there. Was also able to have lunch with the friends of the library and the volunteers of the city, as well as the veterans. Another day we had the veterans that work for the city of Show Low that was able to take them to lunch. So it was just great recognizing some of the people in our community and in our city who do so much. Just like to share a big thank you to everyone who participated in the 6th annual community fast last week, which culminated in a community celebration on Sunday evening. In addition to wonderful music, we heard the testimonials on how the funds were collected, that have been used to help families in the community and individuals through the holiday season. We'll continue to accept donations through December at City Hall, the 4 local banks, National Bank, Chase Bank, Federal, Washington Federal, and Arizona Central Credit Union. Just want to say thank you, and it's been wonderful thus far. This is our most successful year. We've raised in excess of $20,000 this year, so it's been great. And just want to wish everyone a very happy Thanksgiving as you share this holiday with your family and friends. Just remember the importance of it and take time to give thanks for the great blessings we have and for the things that so many people have done for us in our lives. And we live in a great there. And I just want to say thank you to staff and the council members. I appreciate your service and the things that you do. City Manager, for your report.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a report on your request for the 5 callers. The turkeys won tonight, no callers.
No callers, Mike. You could have got free turkeys today, buddy.
So just for announcements, our
15.
public library will be closed tomorrow for staff training. And the aquatic center will be closed from Thursday, November 22nd through Saturday, December 8th for annual maintenance. As you may have noticed coming into council meeting tonight, most of the lights were turned on today, the holiday lights for Show Low Shines. The focus this year is on the downtown area and around Festival Marketplace, the library, City Hall, and along the Deusa clubs, including the new public safety building. Saturday, November 24th is Small Business Saturday, a nationally recognized American shopping experience presented by Show Low Main Street. You can visit the different downtown merchants and participate in their poker run to win some prizes there. As part of the Show Low Shines festivities, our annual Christmas light parade will be Saturday, December 1st at 6 p.m. along the Deusa clubs. This year's theme is Wild West Christmas. Our recreation staff is accepting parade applications for businesses, organizations, and families until next Monday, November 26th Actually, they'll accept them later into the week. You can just call 532-4140 for more information. At 7 o'clock following the parade, as has been mentioned, Main Street's annual Christmas tree lighting ceremony will be in front of City Hall. The trees will be part of a dancing holiday display synchronized to music sponsored by APS, followed by entertainment from One Eye High, who was the winner of the Battle of the Bands, Main Street's Battle of the Bands in September, and a performance by Ballet White Mountains. The winning parade entries will be announced at the event, with parade entrants invited to D-stage at the City Hall parking lot. So they'll be along Hall Street, the parade entrance, and in the City Hall parking lot. We want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. City offices will be closed Thursday and Friday. And as for staff, we want to wish everybody a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday. Thank you.
Seconds. Now, you guys have done a great job with the lights, getting them on tonight. It was kind of neat to see some of the changes along Main Street. Your staff have done a great job.
One thing I want to mention to add on to those lights, the Carrie Leach family who came to the council and said they wanted to do this lighting near the Veterans Memorial. They've done an excellent job and raised donations, and they've done a great job in adding to what we have downtown here.
It'll be really nice Christmas. It'll be great. All right, we do not have, as was looked at, executive session that's on the agenda tonight. We're going to postpone that, so we won't have that. And any scheduling of meetings?
Yes,
No.
let me bring up one.
Okay.
Our first meeting in January is scheduled for January 1st. We didn't think you wanted to hold a meeting that day, on New Year's Day, so we're suggesting we reschedule that meeting for the Wednesday following on January 2nd. Would that work for the council? We kind of have to schedule now because if there's zone changes or other applications that require public hearings, we need to know so we can advertise that way.
Just the second, the next day.
We good with that?
So far. Okay, we'll look at that. If that's a problem, if somebody just if it comes up, please let us know. All right, seeing no other items for the agenda, I'll adjourn this meeting.